Once again, Matthew Ferris with Ferris Benefit Group. I am not only the founder, but an insurance broker myself. And I said that we're going to talk about term insurance. What is term insurance and why it's a good idea? Well, first of all, term and life insurance is very simple and very affordable. Really doesn't take much. This should be a pretty short video. So the first thing you want to do is determine the size of the death benefit. I think we discussed it in our last video that the golden rule where you're like in a situation where you're green is about 10 years. Now, once again, everybody's situation is different, but as we mentioned in previous videos about life insurance, about how you're thinking about different things like how much it's going to cost to bury you. Do you have any debt? How much bills do you guys have in your household that are recurring, right? And also leaving something for your wife or your husband and your kids and whoever else you're taking care of. These are all things you're gonna look at when you're trying to determine how much life insurance you need, which is called the death benefit. The next thing is how long you should get it. I always say, once again, the golden rule with that is at least to retirement. So like take, for example, somebody who's 30 years old, right? Retirement age right now is 65 before it's bumped up. So you might look at getting it for a 35-year policy, right? Or say if you're 40 and you're trying to get life insurance, maybe a 25-year policy. But once again, this is not a cookie cutter situation. Everybody's situation is different. So really what we're gonna do is to sit down with you in that free consultation to find out exactly what's good for you based upon what your goals are. And then another thing you wanna look at is that with these life insurance policies that are term, which means that a term policy, really what it means is that you're literally leasing a policy. So I'm pretty much sure that most people either have leased an apartment or a place to stay, or they know somebody who's done that. So you might sign a lease for 12 months, 24 months, or however long, and then pretty much that's your place. That's where you're gonna be living for that time. Now, once that time's over, you pack your stuff and you move on. There's no equity in it. So part of the reason what makes term life insurance so affordable is that you're literally leasing that life insurance policy for a period of time, whether it be 10, 15, 20, 30 years. The longest period I wrote was a 40-year policy. Now, going to the options to convert to a permanent, and we're gonna get into permanent life insurance here in a little bit, but going to the options to convert to a permanent life insurance policy, what this means is that most of your life insurance policies now with the various companies that offer that, they have a rider option, which means that you can take that term policy and whenever you're ready during the life of that policy, the term of that policy, convert it to a permanent policy. So that would be a good idea to have. And when I work with my clients, I always make sure that that's gonna be in the policy just in case they would like to convert it in the future. And then another feature you definitely want to have in your term policy is that a guaranteed renewable feature. So let's take, for example, the person that gets the life insurance policy when they're 30, we get them a term 35 policy, which is gonna last them for 35 years. Now, we fast forward into the future. Who knows what the world's gonna be like in 35 years. It seems like everything changes day by day, but we're 35 years in the future, and now this the policy is about to expire. Well, they have the ability to have a guaranteed renewability option, which means that when you go through life insurance initially, they're gonna ask you questions about your health, your lifestyle, your height, your weight, all those things. So I mentioned earlier, it's best to get it when you're young, say in your 20s, 30s, because it's gonna be cheaper, it's gonna be less expensive, and also you have a much better chance of getting approved. So having this guaranteed renewability, hopefully I wish everybody stays super healthy, as healthy you were in your 20s, but as we know, life happens, right? So having that guaranteed renewability feature in there means that when that policy does come up, you have the option to renew it and they can't stop you from renewing it based upon any medical conditions you might have at that time. Always a good idea. So I want to really focus on the young couples because what happens is that a lot of people when they're young, they think they're bulletproof, they're invincible. If you're a young couple, especially if you're newly married or if you just had kids, this is something, going back to the idea that life insurance is an act of love. You're getting this, whoever's the breadwinner in, whether it be the partner or the spouse, you gotta look at whoever's the breadwinner, you gotta make sure that the person that you're leaving behind is gonna be able to make it, especially if you have kids. But I wanna focus on them because it's a situation where you can get it earlier on and not to have that peace of mind. But any situation is, come to us, Ferris Benefit Group, have the consultation. And once again, you don't know unless you find out, and finding out is not gonna cost you nothing but time. So Ferris Benefit Group, and we look forward to seeing you and talking to you about other topics about health, life, and disability in the next video.